Hello my dear coding enthusiasts, my name is Stan and today we are going to explore modern technologies in the world of web development and write a small but really interesting application that will help us to understand how currency exchange works. Since we're interested in the old latest technologies updates, today we will work with the Bun plus Hono on the server side and Bun plus Vite on the client side. First, let's start with a brief demo overview and description of our application. Okay, as we can see right here, we have pretty well designed application. Really simple application with the source currency, amount, name, target currency the same, and some inputs and selects. So right here we have amount input of source currency and amount of target currency. Also the names, the list of names of all our currencies right here, and we can easily change the amount of each currency and the currency name. So let's see. For example, I want to use right here Cuban peso right here and the second Australian dollar. Okay, as we can see, all values were changed because I changed the name of currency. Let's change the amount. Okay, I've changed amount. So as we can see, the amount is changing, and also this works not only in one direction but in the reverse direction also. So right here I will use 200, and as we can see, everything is changed. Also, let's change the currency name. Again, all was recalculated on a flight. So it's pretty interesting and pretty simple application. And last thing that I want to demo right here, it is the great loader right here. So as you can see, when we update the application, on 1 second while our data is loading from the server, we see this beautiful loader. Okay, great. I think that's all with the overview. Let's go writing code, guys. Okay, as we can see right here, I've already had a simple empty folder called currency application, which I will use for storing my application. So first thing first, I want to initialize a Git repository right here. So I will use git init. Let's start with installing Bun on our computer. So I will use this simple command, put it here. Also, I will list this command in the README file so you can easily copy this from the GitHub repository. Let's wait a few seconds. Great, Bun was installed, and as we can see right here, we need to specify path to our directory. Okay, great. I hope everything is worked. Let's check it. Okay, great. As we can see, we have the response for our Bun help command, so Bun was installed correctly. Let's start with developing our server. Okay guys, under the hood of our application, we will use Hono as a... Okay guys, with the server of our application... Okay guys, under the hood of our application, as the server framework, we will use Hono. So let's check it out. What is it? As we can see, Hono means flame in Japanese. It's a small, simple, and ultra-fast web framework for edges. It works on any JavaScript runtime, Cloudflare, Fastly, Dino, Bun, Vercel, and etc. And not only fast, but really simple. So let's start with it. As we can see right here, we can choose quick start option, and as you know, we already use Bun, so I will copy this command and paste it here. Okay, target directory, server, which template? Bun. Okay, do you want to install? Yes, Bun. So let's wait a couple of seconds. Great. As you can see, everything was installed successfully, and we can just navigate to this server folder. Great. Here we already have git ignore, so our node modules will not push to the repository. We already have the index.js with the super simple server run with Hono application. That's great and well bootstrapped small project. So let's get started to work with it. Since we want to access our server from the client, we need to configure course header policies. To do this, let's import the course middleware additionally and use it with our application instance, allowing access from any address using the asterisk. So it's pretty simple operation, and let's do this. We already have the app run with Hono, and right here I want to use okay, with all requests, and I need to use course right here. Okay, we do not have it, so let's import it first. import Hono course. Okay, great. So right now we will not have any problems with course errors. And right now I think it's time to add a .json file which will contain currency exchange rate and also currency name. I already have these two files. I will just create inside of our source directory folder called JSONs. Okay, and inside of this folder I will put already prepared JSONs file. Great, let's save it and let's have a brief overview. What do we have here? So first file is just a simple JSON with abbreviation as a key and the whole name of the currency as the value of the field. And right here we have also pretty simple JSON which contain abbreviation and exchange rate. And please, let's take a look on this field. So we have a base. It is like the base currency which will be used by us as a base currency. Okay, this is the date, rates and everything. We already have this JSON and this JSON and we should use it to handle all operations which we can have while exchanging our currency and calculating the amounts. Great. Now we just need to handle two GET requests to get files with currency name and rates. For this we use the simple GET method. Okay, first we need to remove this code and let's start with our server. Up use JSONs asterisk, and right here I will use source static. Okay, Hono Bun. So with this method source static I will store our JSONs folder as a static folder on our server, which means that we can have access to it with our requests. So that's the first step. Okay, and I need to define root, which will be just a root directory. Okay, great. So right here we already serve our JSONs folder and now we can start with the GET methods. Okay, first I want to access currencies which we will have by callback, and inside of this callback we will just simply return callback redirect to our specified address. And JSON. Okay, great. We finished with the first method, which will return the JSON with our currencies with the GET request, and here we will changes to names. Okay, so right here we have two methods, currencies and names, and right now I want to specify the port which we will be using while developing our application. Okay, 8080, okay, it will be 8088, and right now I just need to serve my server. So first I will use Bun here, serve, and right here I just need to specify two things. This port, which will be port, and fetch function, which will be up fetch. Okay, great. And I think that's all for now, but I want to log that our server is running, so I will be using a log here with this message. Server is running on server port. Okay, great. I think we are ready with our server. It was super simple. It takes like a couple of minutes to create it, and let's start with hot reloading. This we can see server is running on our specified port, and actually we can check it. I will open the new tab, and right here I will choose localhost / currencies. Yes, great. It is a success response. So as we can see, we have all data that we have inside of our JSON. That's a great result. I think our server is running smoothly. So that's time to move to the client part of our application. So, okay, on our client part, we will use Bun plus Vite, and I think we should visit the official Vite documentation and check it out how we can get started. To do this, I will visit this website, and already we have a getting started page. This is the small overview, and they actually have the instruction how to pronounce Vite, and it sounds like Vite. So not white, Vite. Okay, maybe I was wrong.
Vite. Vite.
Oh, a bit French is here. Okay, great guys. So let's start with developing our application. First thing first, as we can see, we can use the simple bun create Vite command right here, but if you will scroll down a bit, you will see that we have already prepared templates. And as we know, we will use React with TypeScript, so we have this template right here. So I will use bun create Vite app name template React TypeScript. Okay, great. Let's start with this. So I will copy this command. Here I need to open a new terminal, and I need to return to my root folder right here, currency application, and right here just paste the thing that I was from the Vite documentation. Okay, I will call this client template. As we know, it will be React TypeScript and enter. Okay, this is again the problem that we have with the path. Yeah, I think that's the common problem with the bun, but it fixes pretty simple. I don't want to go inside of some files and configurations, so yeah, let's just use this command. Okay, great, it was super fast actually. So our project was already prepared right here, as you can see, and all what we're gonna do right here, it is navigate to our client folder, then install all dependencies that we need to install. Let's wait a couple of seconds. Great, as you can see, it took like 3 or 5 seconds, so Bun is super fast, so it's really faster than npm, I think, and I really like it. So let's start with our application. Okay, great. As we can see right here, we already have our application is running, so it's just a simple bootstrap project from Vite, but we will change it soon. I already can close this index.ts with our server, and we can start with our client. I will open this one more terminal right here, okay, with the client folder, that's correct. And because we will use the modern UI library called Shadcn inside of our application, we need to prepare for using it. So we need to install all stuff that we should install and then start developing, okay? So I will open my browser again right here. I will copy and paste UI Shadcn com docs installation Vite, and right here we have a really wide overview how we can start it inside of our project. So we already have project, we don't need to create it again, but we need to specify and initialize Tailwind inside of our project. So I will copy this with bun and paste it right here. Okay, great. Same problem. So I will stop this, copy again these two guys. Okay, with the path, I think that's the last time inside of our development process, but we'll see. Great, so executing again command with Tailwind CSS, great, this is working. And then we can check what we should do next. So first thing first, we need to add a following code in the test config.json. So, okay, compiler options, yes, let's add it. So test config.json, compiler options, I think right here it should be good. Okay, great, so let's stop our server and let's check what we should do next. Also, we should update the Vite config.ts. So first thing first, we need to install types node. Okay, let's do this. Oh, okay, let's check what types node. Yes, it was installed, great. And what's next? Next, we should, I think, copy this config and just paste it inside of our Vite config. So right here. And let's save it. Okay, great, everything is fine. So what's next? Next, we should run the Shadcn UI init command to set up our project, then configure it, and seems that that's it. Then we can just simply use components from our library. So yeah, let's finish with the last command. We will use Bun right here. Okay, resolving. Let's wait, and right here we need to answer on some questions. Make it smaller. Yes, I would like to use TypeScript default slate. Okay, let's do this right now. Yes, yes. Okay, components. Let's use it. Yes, I think no, without any servers component inside of our application. And yes. Let's wait a couple of seconds. Great, so as we can see, our Tailwind CSS global file was configured right here, but I want to move all this information inside of our index CSS. I think right here it should be better. So I will move it here, and right here I just can delete my global CSS. Okay, great. Super. So I think we are ready to start with working by our hands with the components inside of our application. So stay tuned and let's start. So first thing first, let's recap once again how our application is looking right now. So as you can see, we have something look like cart right here and few inputs and few selects. So what component will suits for us the best? So I think that's a cart component. Cart component from our Shadcn library. Right here, as you can see, we have a beautiful cart component with some inputs, with some selects, and I think that's a great opportunity. So I will use Bun and I will add our cart component inside of our application. So right here, I can execute this command and let's check the components folders. So right here, we already have our prepared cart component. And also, we can navigate again to the Shadcn, check the usage guide. So how we can use it. So as you can see here, we have a cart header, cart content, the main content, and cart footer. As we remember from our application, we have a header and the main content, but we do not have any footer. So I think that's not necessary thing for us, but I think we can easily copy all these things, then return to our components folder, and right here I want to create the new component. Okay, not inside of the lib but inside of components, called converter.tsx. Okay, great, so let's start. React functional arrow component with export default. Rename it to converter, and yes, great. So also we can go to our application right here, remove all unnecessary things, and just return our converter component. So it will be the self-closing component. I don't need any states right here and any unused imports, so I will remove it, and yeah, we can run our application again and visit this website. Okay, as we can see, we have a beautiful converter line right here. That's great. That means that our component is ready for any additional modifications. So let's start with it. So what we should do next? I think we should return to our Shadcn cart component and copy all these things inside of our newly created converter component. So first thing first, I will import cart, and secondary, I will replace my div with all these imported stuff. Let's see what do we have in the result. Okay, we have cart title, cart description, cart content, and cart footer. So as we remember, we do not have any footer information inside of our application, so I will simply delete this, and okay, looks pretty nice actually. Let's modify this. First thing that I want to change, it's a bit, add some style to it. So I will use class name from Tailwind with max width, which will 300 pixels. Okay, great. Also, I need to specify class name right here. So I want to add border, border bottom, 2 pixels, padding 2 and margin 2. Okay, margin. Great. Okay, let's check what do we have here. So we still have our card looking not the same as we expect with our already created application right here. So we still have some differences. How we can fix it? We can easily navigate to app.tsx right here, and I think I will wrap it with a div. Okay, put converter here and add some additional class names. So first thing first, I want to use flex. Just define center, items center, and height will be screen, and PG gray 200 as the background. And I think I do not need any app.css from here, so I can easily move it to trash. Let's check it. Great, already better. So as we can see, we have as a result our card. It is the small card because we do not have anything inside of it, but I think it will be better when we add some really informative header and content. So let's do this. As we can see right here, we have an input and a select components, and I think we should use the form component because this is the form actually. So form with input and the select without button, but still we will submit it with changing some information here and maybe here. Let's navigate here and let's check what elements do we need. So first thing first, we do need input right here. So we have a code of our input and the preview. So it is pretty simple input. We need to install it with the Bun right here. Okay, so I will paste it here. Great, we already have input inside of our components folder, inside of UI. Great. Yeah, let's check how we can use it. So okay, it is simple label for the input and input type email, ID email, placeholder email. So usage is pretty simple as we expected. Okay, great. Next we need to check out about select. So again, first thing first, add this in our project. Bam, it's ready, super fast. I like it a lot. Great, next we need to navigate to the form component right here and check out what do we have here. So I think usage of React hook form will be more interesting, so we'll make our video a bit more interesting. So why we do need this? So we need to build forms with using React hook form and Zot as a validator. So forms are tricky. They are one of the most common things you'll build in a web application, but also one of the most complex. Okay, great. We here have a pretty detailed description of the form. So guys, you can easily navigate to UI Shadcn docs components form and check it out. But we will not stop a long time here, but let's check that in example. First, we need to initialize the form with use form hook because we have React hook form, and then just use form field with control name and the render method right here, which will check the field and return all data and all information that we need inside of our form. So again, copy the command and paste it here. Great, well done. React hook form, it is a really convenient library. We don't have to write a complex custom validation, error components, labels, and so on. Yes, we still have the freedom to style and customize form, but all also already bootstrap inside of it. What we should do first? As we can see inside of our application, we will have two common pieces right here, like rows. First row is first amount, like the source amount, and the second row is the target amount. So I think we should use the reusable component right here. Okay, let's move to the components folder right here. to create a new component, reusable component card row. So row 6. Great. What we will have inside of our card row component? First, we need to define the component. Great. And what's next? So first thing first, we need to define the form as we were checked inside of the documentation. So const form will be use form hook, okay, from your React hook form, with type z as the zot resolver, okay, infer, and type of form schema. Okay, great, but we don't have z, so we should import it first. This will be import z from zot. Okay, this is the validator. Nice. And the next thing that we should import it is zot resolver. From hook form resolvers zot. Great. What we should do next? We should define this form schema. So I will create const for schema. It will be again using z, then object method, which allow us to specify all fields that we will have inside of our form. So first is amount, which will be number. Okay. Also, I think positive. Okay. And multiple of with this para. I just need to have, I think, 2 signs after comma, and currency, okay, which will be just simple string. Okay, great. So we already have a form schema and we are on the way with defining our form. Okay, so what's next? Right here we will use again an object with resolver, which means we need to use that resolver that will get a form as the param, as an argument, and also we need to specify the default values. So as we know, we have amount. Okay, let's use undefined, and currency, that which is also will be undefined. Okay, great. And let's save this stuff. Well, excellent, we are finished with our form, and right now we can just return not a card row but return our form. First, I want to have a wrapper, a small wrapper, that which will use flex and gap5 as a class names, Tailwind class names, and inside I will use form. Okay, React hook form, and we need to spread the form itself right here. Great. So what's next? We can go to our React hook form, and I think we can simply copy all these example lines, okay, from here to here, with the button which we need to delete afterwards. So I will put it here. Okay, we do not need button right here. I will delete this, and we do need to import all components which we need to have inside of it. But also you need to be super careful with all these imports, because you need to import it only from UI form. Okay, that's really strict thing. Okay, for message and description. Okay, UI form, hook form, resolvers. Yes, I think all imports are correct right here. So yeah, as we know, we have only 2 things. It is amount and currency, and we do not have on submit right now. So yeah, I think we should remove this thing from here from now. Okay, and yeah, Let's add a bit styles right here. So it will be amount, placeholder 0, I think. Okay. Also, I need to specify the type, which will be number. Okay, and pattern. Okay, which I believe will be from 0 to 9, and asterisk here. Okay, great. So form description, I think I do not need any description right here, so message yes, but not description. I will delete this guy from here, and let's see. We already have this form inside of our form component from wrapper, but as we remember, we have two forms here. So first with the input, but second is select form. Okay, so I also need to navigate to my Shadcn right here and check it out. What do we have inside of our select? Okay, let's just simply copy this usage thing and put it inside of our control to use this guy. Great. So select trigger UI select, not from Radix UI. Okay, not from here. Content select, and the select item from also UI select. And guys, please check it carefully. We do not need to have anything from Radix UI. Yes, our Shadcn library using Radix, but we need to use only installed component. Great, let's save it. And let's check what do we have here. We have field again, and I think we should spread it right here. Okay, next we need to change it from amount to currency, and yeah, we do not have any problems right here. So let's check it out. What do we have as the result of our application? Okay, nothing, because we are not using our card row inside of our application. So let's save it right here. Let's navigate to converter and let's use our card row right here. 1, 2. Okay, we do not need this footer, but we do need this card row component. Okay, and again, boom, we have an error. So why? Boom. Let's check the console right here. Okay, I think that's the problem inside of our card row, and of course, as I said, we need to be super careful with imports inside of our applications. We need to remove form from here and use a form from our UI form component. So I think this should help. Yes, great. So as we see right now, we have already amount, and we have our inputs, and we have some options inside of our selects. So I think that's a great result. We have created the skeleton of the application. Now it's time to add some logic to it and work with the data. As we remember, we need to fetch currency exchange rates and currency names from the server. So let's move on that. I'll be working with data in the main converter component, and I'll make the other components dump, responsible only for displaying data, not for fetching or working with the logic. To efficiently work with the request, I will be using the SVR library. So let's first go to the SVR website and check it out a bit. Okay, so as you can see, you can check the SVR library from here. It is a super lightweight library, which will help us to make the HTTP request really fast and cacheable. So SVR is strategy to first return the data from cache stale and send fetch request revalidate, and finally come up with the up-to-date data. So it's really efficient library, and I like to work with it. So it's save a really big amount of boilerplate for us. Right here in the usage example, we see that the creators have simplified the standard boilerplate for making requests for us. Now we only need one line of code to extract all the necessary params and information that we will use inside of our application. Okay guys, you can check this page. It is pretty simple and not too much information, and I think that's super easy to understand how it's working. Okay, so I will remove these guys and let's start to adding this library in our project. Right here, I will use bun.svr command for adding this library. Great, a library was installed. I really like how Bun do it in really efficient and fast. It's really faster than npm. Okay, so now let's go to our main component and try to fetch data from our server. First, I want to create an environable file to store our environable variables. So right here, I will just use .env. Okay, and let's just save it. Yeah, we don't need to push it inside of our repository. Great. So I have already env file, and right here I will just create the constant for our server address. Okay, we can close the env file and return to our main component. So I'll close all these guys, and right here we can start with fetching data. So now let's use the power of hooks for data fetching. We'll be use the use SVR hook imported from the library and destructure the states we need from it, namely the data we expect, an error object if there is one, and the status of data is loading. Okay, so first thing first, I want to create base URL param right here. Which we can import from our .env file. Okay, and of course I want to put it out of my component right here. Okay, great. Now let's start with using SVR. Okay, first param will be data, and I want to create a function for fetch our currency names, so I will just use the names data. Okay, right here. Okay, right here we will use hook use SVR from the library SVR as we expect. Okay, and right here we need to pass two params. First, it is the URL address that we need to go for, and the second, it is the fetcher function, which will essentially be a wrapper over the native fetch. Okay, so first thing first, I want to create this construction. Base URL names, and the second param will be our fetcher function. Okay, right here I will use just URL and then fetch URL, then res.json. This is pretty it. We created our fetching function for names data, and also we need to create the second one for fetch the currencies. So I will be simply copy this piece of code and rename all the stuff to currencies. Okay, my friends, so as we can see, we already finished with two data fetching functions. So first thing first, let's check how it's working. Yeah, right here I just want to log the result of our data fetching. Okay, and put here data. Okay, and as we can see, we have undefined in the result. I think we can have some errors somewhere. So first thing first, as I can see here, we have started server on localhost 3000, but as we remember, we want to put 8088 port right here, so let's fix this. I will just rename it. Okay, and remove this guy. I think that's unnecessary. Okay, great. As we can see right here, we have only one message server is running on 188 port. That's fine. Okay, close this guy, and I think, yeah, let's check the URL first. So I think we can have problems right here. Yes, and let's check it. Yeah, as we can see, we have undefined. So what is the problem right here? Okay, a wide backend. Right here we have env, but it should be rel. Copy from here, save it, close, and put it right here. So let's check it out. Okay, guys, here it is. As we can see, we have success right here and all the information that we want to have on our front-end part. That's a great result, I think. And yeah, so I will remove this logger and this we're not gonna need it anymore. Okay, we have the result. Now we need to handle the error and the data loading cases. So for the error and loader component, it will be the super simple dump components, and I'll speed up a bit video so you don't get bored. And actually you can just copy this code from the repository, which I will store as the link inside of this video description. So yeah, let's check it. Okay, and right now I will create the loader component. It will be a simple component, uses just all styling with Tailwind CSS, so I think it's good to have a native animation, not a GIF image or something. Okay friends, right now we are ready with our loader and error components, and it's time to use the pattern called conditional rendering inside of our main component. And if we have names error or currencies error, and even if we have loading processes of any of our data, we should show proper content to our users. So let's do this. It's pretty simple, and again I will speed up this a bit, so we will meet in a couple of seconds. Okay, since we're already with conditional loading, let's check it out inside of our application. So I will open this and let's try. Okay guys, as you can see, for like half of a second we see the data is loading and the beautiful loader, but also I can actually add some trolling right here. Slow 3G network. Let's check it out. Okay, data is loading right here. So as we can see, everything is pretty nice. Okay, I will disable this, close, return to console. Okay, now let's break something, for example this URL, and save this and try again. Okay, oops, something went wrong, please try again, or contact support. Actually we have a typo right here. Okay, okay, great. As we can see right here, we have, okay, let's do this, I think 50 view widths. I think it will be better a bit. Okay, let's make it 65 view widths. Yeah, that's great. Okay, and as we can see, if we have an error in like any of URL, we will see this problem, and as we can see, it's revalidating in a bit. So yeah, okay, so let's remove our error and check that everything is working fine. And as we can see, data is loading and everything is fetching, and that's a great result. Now let's proceed and write the most interesting part of our code, the conversation loading. Okay, since we want to control our forms from the parent component, we need to make them controlled. Let's start with our form. First, I want to prepare the parent component and explain a bit how our application will work. Since we want to have the ability of bidirectional conversion, we need to understand in which direction the calculation is going, forward or backward. For this, I'll create the local state using the useState hook. Okay, we're ready with this, and next we need to know which currency is the source and which one is target, so we will also use state for this. Okay, we are ready with currencies, and the last thing that I want to add right now, it is the state for our exchange rate. We also need to understand what's the current exchange rate between these currencies. Okay, And the really last data that I want to add here, it is the amount. So we need to understand which amount we need to exchange, and yeah, let's add this. So again, one more local state. Okay, but how will we use the amount to be able to convert in both directions? Two variables will help us with this, which we will be redefining. So first, I will use the let keyword to declare two variables, source amount and target amount. Now we can understand in which direction the conversation is happening and what values each of variables will take. For this, we will use a simple if-else condition, and in case where it will converting in the forward direction, we set the amount value or the value of the source currency, and the target value is calculated using the formula where the exchange rate is be involved. The same applies for the reverse direction, only the sign will be opposite. So let's start with this. If it is forward, we just simply need to pass the amount as the source amount. And the second thing, target amount. With using exchange rate calculation, and it will be to fixed with simple to size. And because the amount is string, because we'll be using our inputs, I will convert to number this with the simple number wrapper right here. Okay, and else if there are other direction, we just need to change right here and right here, and of course we need to change the sign. Great. Okay, but we are not using amount for now. That's totally okay. So we are on the way of understanding how our application works. Now let's take a look at what data we receive from the server and think about how we can process it. I will open my browser right here, go into network, and let's check the JSON that we have here. Okay, as we see, for the endpoint dedicated to names, we receive an object with the schema abbreviation right here and the full name of currency. And we should use the full name in our select and the abbreviation in the component header, as we see from our application. So right here abbreviation, but right here we are using the whole name. So I think that's the condition of our application. Okay, and if we look on the server response with exchange rates, we will see that we have a name of the base currency right here, euro, and also the rates fields where currency exchange rates are displayed according to the abbreviation. Okay, rates right here, and the rate relative to the base currency right here. Okay, great. Let's think about how we can link all this data together in our interface. First, I want to create from the names and abbreviation a convenient array of objects, which is the schema, abbreviation, and the full name. For this, I will create the utility function that will help us to do this. So let's first create the utils folder, and in this folder create a new file called modifynames.typescript. I will make it a bit smaller right here, and this guy also. And let's create inside of our src folder the utils folder. Okay, since we have a small application and I understand that there will be a few utilities, I can afford not to group them into one document, but to create a separate file for this script for that. So because of that, I just create the modify name file right here. Okay, so let's get started. Since we want to modify entries of an object into an array, the object entries method will be suited for us perfectly. Then we will simply map over the resulting array of entries and group them into a convenient schema with case abbreviation and the name. So let's start over. Okay, right here we will have a names object, which will be this type. Okay, great. And what we're gonna do right here? So we'll be simply returning object entries. Okay, right here we should pass the names objects and then simply map over it. And okay, right here we will have abbreviation and name as the key and value. And then we simply, okay, I simply want to return an object right here with the simple result, abbreviation and name. Okay, great. And export default modify names. Great, we have the convenient form of our names values ready. Now I suggest you to make some small changes to the data fetching function in the hook for retrieving currency names, so that we immediately can work with the modified data that is convenient for us. To do this, we need to process the received response from the server and pass it through our modify names function. So I will return to our converter right here. Okay, and a bit change this function. So first I will want to make it asynchronous, then return the function. Okay, so first thing first, I need to create a const data for result of our response. Okay, great. And what we need to return? We need to return already modified data. So I will use modify names. Okay, modify names. Okay, export default. Why we do not have it right here? But anyway, modify names and data right here. And also I want to console log my modified data results. And okay, and why I have problems with importing it? Let's do it manually. Oh, okay, I cannot import it because I've created it inside of the server folder. Sorry for that, guys. So I will just move it to library, I think. Yeah, I want to move it. And inside of lib, we already have a utils file. So yes, actually that's the common utils file. So I will just simply use my utils folder. I think that's okay. But if you're not convenient with that, you can just simply replace this. So okay, and right now I think we can easily import it. Great, so yeah, let's check it out. Okay, we still have some errors and I think that's okay. Let's update it. Yes, everything is fine. And let's go to our console. Yes, great. As we can see, we have the console log of modified names data. And let's check something. Yes, the result is pretty awesome. We have abbreviation with the real abbreviation of our currency and the name. So right now we do not need to somehow change the our JSON, so we can just go throughout our array of objects. It's super simple, I think, and super convenient for us. Great. Now we need to think about how we will perform currency conversion, namely how we will determine the exchange rate. As we understand, in order to freely convert in both directions, we must have some base rate to operate with when converting any one currency to any other. And we have such a base rate inside of our JSON response, if you remember. So we can easily use a base field in the server response with the abbreviation of our base currency, and we will do this. So let's create a new utils file called calculate.typescript. Okay, let's go to lib utils and here create a new file. Great. Okay, this will be a function that takes as params the source currency, the target currency, and the data with the exchange rates of all currency obtained from the server. So let's create the type for currency rate data. For this, in the root, I will create the file called types.ts where we will define the type for this data. Okay, right here. TS. Oh, I have a typo here. Oh, let's fix this. Types.ts. Okay, and I've already created type for this data. So we will have two interfaces right here: raise data type with the type that which we have from our server. For this, it is success, timestamp, base date, and rates, and currency name type. So it is abbreviation and the name. Okay, let's start with our calculate function. Okay, here, as we remember, we will take the source currency. Target one. And the exchange rate data itself. Okay, great. It will be a string. And the default value, it is the empty string. For target currency, it will be the same. And okay, I just need to make it with the separate lines. Okay, and the exchange rate data, it will be a simple rates data type. Okay, great. So what's we gonna do next? Right here inside of our function, first I will define the base currency. Base currency. It will be the simple exchange rate data base. Okay. Then I just need to create the base currency rate. So we also simply can get this from our exchange rate data rates, and here I just need to use my base currency. Okay, and next we can calculate the exchange rate itself. So yeah, exchange rate, it will be this type of math formula: exchange rate data rates. Here I will use target currency, then exchange rate data rates, but here source currency, and as the result we can just simply get it is with base currency rate. Okay, with this simple math formula we should have the correct exchange rate and simply return it from our utils function. Okay, and export default calculate exchange rate. Okay, super. The formula for calculating the exchange rate is ready. Now let's go back to our main component and continue working with it. Okay, and now we need to set the values of the source and target currencies, as well as calculate the exchange rate for initial screen of the application. Let's use the effect hook for this. So first thing first, I just need to define the use effect hook right here. Okay, and the dependencies array. Okay, so I'll check first that we have already received the data about currency name and rates, and then if the source currency is not set, we simply set the first currency in the first, that's the first currency in the list of the currencies. And we will do the same for the target currency. And the last thing that we need to do is set the exchange rate. For this we will use one of the stores that we have for the rate and put the result of calling our function to calculate the exchange rate into this store, passing the correct params there, and the initial screen will be ready. So let's start with it. If We already have names and currencies. Names data and currencies data. Oh shit. Currencies data, if we have this stuff, so if we do not have the source currency, then we will simply set source currency and put here names data. Okay. First the lem in the array and then abbreviation. Okay, and the same stuff for our target currency. But here we will be using the next line. Okay, and after that we can simply set the exchange rate. So set exchange rate. Right here first we need to calculate exchange rate. Here we just need to pass the right params, so it will be source currency, or if we do not have source currency yet, because we are using useState as asynchronous function, we will use already defined this guy. It's first time, then target currency, okay, or same data from here. And then we just need to pass the currencies data to proceed inside of our function. Okay, great. So I think that's it. But also we should not forget about our dependency arrays. So it will be names data, currency data, source currency, and target currency. Okay, great. We are ready with our useEffect hook. I think that our initial screen of application should be ready. So let's refresh the tab and see what do we have inside of our application. Okay. Nothing, because we're not passing anything inside of our rows component actually, and the title and description. Okay, that's not a problem. First, I think we would like to be able to select currency, calculate amount, change the amount, and see the correct labels. For this, we need to write function to handle these events. Let's get started. So, let's start with changing the amount of the source and the target currency. For this, we will write a handle change source amount function, which will take an event element, and since we are talking about changing the source currency, the conversation will be processing in the forward direction. So okay, right here I will create a new constant, handle change source amount. Okay, and right here we will take an event that will be a type of change event, and HTML input element. So okay, HTML input element right here. Great. And then we just simply will set first the direction. So set is forward to true to initial value, and then set amount, and here we will just pass the target value as the value. Okay, and also we need to create the second function to change the target amount. So it will be pretty the same, but we will change it to false, because right now it is another direction backward. So and set amount will be pretty the same. Okay, next we need to enhance our row. I will receive as a props the currency amount value, handler for changing the amount, the selected currency, and handler for selecting the currency, and the last thing, it is the data with the currency names as the callback to change our state with the selected currency. Okay, so right here inside of our card row I will add some props that I listed before. Okay, and I will copy this row and paste it here with a bit changes, because we are talking about target currency here in this row, so we'll change it to target. Okay, small typo here. Okay, right now is good. Okay, and the names data is the same. Okay, super. Now let's jump into the row component and let's make it work and react as we expect right now. Okay. First thing first, I want to destructure all my props from here, so it will be an object, and here the type is an object. So first it will be amount, then it will be handle change amount, selected, okay, selected currency, handle change currency, and names. Okay, okay, currency names. Great, so we also need to type it, so let's copy this guy and paste it right here. Okay, it will be a string or undefined. Great, then this will be change event HTML input element. Okay, then it will be void, I think. Yeah. Okay, selected currency, it will be simple string or undefined as usual. Yes, okay. Right here it will be also a callback with value, which will be string, and then it will be returning as the void. Great, and currency names, it will be currency names type, but it will be an array, or it also could be undefined, so we can specify it right here. Okay, we are ready with typing, we already have our form, so right now we just need to put the correct things inside of the correct place inside of our form. So first thing first, inside of the first input we also should specify the value, which will be simple amount. Okay, great. Then also we need to specify, so I will just make it right here. And on change, will be handle change amount. Okay, great, so we are ready with this stuff. And also I think I can copy these guys and yeah, we will put it inside of the select right here. Bams, bams, bams. Okay, value will be selected currency. Okay, and handle change currency right here. Okay, and after our select trigger we just need to change our select content. So right here we have our currency names, so we can simply currency names map over this object. Okay, we will have an item, then we can simply return the component, so select item, which will have a key prop that will, for example, item abbreviation, value will be also the item abbreviation. Okay, and inside of this component we just need to pass the item name. Okay, and just simply delete these two guys. Okay, and also we have an error right here, and I think that's because we are spreading the field right here. I think we can just move it right here because we want to override this value and on change, and from here and put it here, and I think that should help. Let's wait a sec. Yes, and we do not have these errors, but we also have an error with typing of our handle name. Oh, okay, yes. Just a small typo right here. I think that should help. Yeah, but here on value change, I think it is the right param right here because we are changing the value of our select. Okay. Also, last thing that I want to change this, I want to change the placeholder, currency name. Okay, amount. What about here? Placeholder is correct. Okay, and let's check our application. Okay, let's update it. Yes, right now, as we can see, we already have okay, we have a problem with amount of target currency. So let's return to our converter and let's check it. Oh, okay, set source currency 2 times. Okay, let's save it, and yes. Okay, we have a problem right here. Okay, great guys. Right here, as we can see, all our changes is ready. So yeah, but we have a problem right here with our title and description, but I can fix it super easy. So right here, we will have simple source amount with the source currency. And right here we will have the target amount with the target currency. Okay, let's save this and let's check it out again. Great guys, as you can see right now our loader flashes for a second, which means everything was loaded from the server. Great, we don't have any error and the functionality is ready. I see that the first 2 currencies were loaded for us. That's excellent. I can change the currency amount, for example 143, and the source amount, the target amount, everything is recalculation and changes. Let's change, for example, the currency, for example, bam, rupee. Okay, everything was recalculated. Again, recalculated this guy, everything is recalculation. So also let's change this amount, and this amount is changing as well. So that's great result. Now I think our work is pretty ready. We checked the calculation in the one forward direction, backward direction, and everything is ready. So I think that's a really good result. So it's like a slam dunk or something. Yeah, I think that's it with the main functionality of the application. So we can simply push it to the Git. So I will open my GitHub repository right here, create a new one. I will call this video currency. Okay, it will be a public, and I will just simply create the repository right here. Okay, so I will create the first commit from here. Okay. And let's change the message result. Okay, cd, yes, currency up, everything is fine. I will add all stuff right here. That I will create the first commit message. That's okay. Then I just need to specify the branch. Okay, let me rearrange it a bit. It will be main, and add a remote origin. And I will push origin main. Bams. I think that should be ready. Let's check it out. Yes, Guys, as we can see, we are really finished with this application. It's my first video on the channel, so I am really appreciate that you are watching this till the end. Please set a like, set a comment, write a comment, and maybe subscribe if you wanted to. If you don't want, yeah, you don't want. Okay, so see you, man.